Hello, my name is Joseph Fishburne and welcome to my Marketing Dynamics vlog. First, let's define marketing. A source that I often refer back to define marketing is the Chartered Institute of Marketing's interpretation of the word. They define marketing as a management process responsible for identifying, anticipating and satisfying customer requirements profitably. In this vlog, I'll be covering three main concepts. The first one is the consumer decision-making process, the second one is Porter's 5 forces, and the third one is brand loyalty. As you may have gathered from the logo emblazoned in the top right hand corner of this slide, the focus company for this project is of course the Swiss timepiece giant Rolex. Despite them being considered to be somewhat of a mercurial brand, what we do know about Rolex is this. Rolex are the leading brand in luxury watches for both men and women, with headquarters located in Geneva in Switzerland. They were founded in 1905 and currently hire over 14,000 staff globally, with dealers located in 118 countries per the 22 reports. They have an estimated brand value of over $8 billion and currently an all-time high for the Swiss watch giant. Finally, Rolex's annual revenues reached over $4 billion in the financial year ended 2021. The first thing we will be exploring is the decision-making process. To understand the foundations of the process, we must first explore the driver behind the process, which is consumer behaviour. Kotler believes that the consumer behaviour is the motivations behind why, what, how and when a consumer might make a purchase. From this theory, we can assess Kotler's 5-stage model, which highlights the 5 steps a consumer will go through during the purchasing process. With Rolex in essence being a retail brand, Kotler's model can definitely be applied. However, some stages of the process could be questioned given the nature of the products Rolex produce, although the themes are still wholly applicable. So, let's run through the steps while applying it to a Rolex buyer and what their experience might be. The first stage is problem recognition. This is where a Rolex consumer might identify the need to buy a Rolex. What could this problem be? Perhaps they wish for an implement to assist them with timekeeping. The question you might ask yourself is this: why not just use your phone? Well, there are many reasons. Wiedmann and Hennigs believe that societal pressures and wanting to portray the image of success may be a key motivator behind why we as consumers may choose a premium product over a brand like Casio, for example. Perhaps the problem that has been recognised by the consumer is that they do not feel like their affluence is being adequately represented by their current appearance. Next, information search. Given the price of a product from this manufacturer, you would assume that the information search process would be fairly extensive. What might the consumer ask themselves? What kind of watch do I want? How expensive is this watch? Am I safe wearing this watch in public? And finally, which leads us on to the next stage, is there any other watches I could buy to achieve my desired outcome without breaking the bank? The evaluation of alternatives is a key issue in the decision-making process and is one that manufacturers and brands themselves must consider. Are our products worth the money? Do we offer enough value in our products? Do we justify the price that we've set, and do we dissuade customers from choosing to align themselves with an alternative brand? Assuming that the customer is satisfied that these questions have been answered, they will then move on to stage 4, the purchase decision. Often when a consumer has reached this stage with a product from the brand in question, they often go through with the purchase. The likelihood of consumers opting for an alternative with high-end luxury products is unusual, and particularly given the nature of the item. Finally, the last stage is the post-purchase evaluation. A consumer might ask themselves this: does this product satisfy the points highlighted in stage 1 of the process? Am I satisfied that my decision to purchase a Rolex instead of an alternative product highlighted in stage 3? Am I satisfied? And Rolex's vast product portfolio, as well as their long-standing status as the benchmark for luxury watchmaking, may render some of the aspects in the process less relevant. However, from a consumer perspective, it is likely that most will inadvertently follow this process regardless. And here you can see an illustration of the process that I've just explained. Now let's move on to our next theme, which is Porter's 5 forces. How can we apply this to Rolex? Well, there has been some criticisms of the model that may not be entirely applicable to modern day businesses, there are a number of points we can take from it to further understand the brand. The first one, let's have a look at threat of new entry. Extremely high barriers to entry for unknown entities trying to break into the luxury market. Well-established brands such as Omega and Breitling possess decades of history and brand establishment, as well as massive financial clout. As well as this, massive initial investment needed to even compete at the lower levels of watchmaking, let alone the luxury market, may lower this problem. Furthermore, high levels of competition means, as well as pre-existing brand loyalty, can also render new entrants invalid. Let's have a look at supplier power. Many of Rolex's suppliers, particularly for raw materials such as precious metals, are largely unknown. However, Rolex's stature in world business would make it less complicated to supply some of the precious metals or stones such as diamonds, and the ability to substitute these materials is more challenging than that of a common metal such as steel. As well as this, Rolex require high quality materials and also regularly require these materials to produce their products. It is imperative for suppliers to meet these demands, as the competition to be a supplier for Rolex is extremely competitive, as you can imagine, which further reduces supplier power. Let's have a look at threat of substitution as well. Due to the nature of the product, Rolex have a high amount of competition from the likes of Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Omega and Breitling, just to name a few. Consumers may seek alternatives if they believe brand value can be found elsewhere, whether it be in regards to value, quality or accessibility to the products themselves. They're not easy to get a hold of. For example, many Rolex models are not available to buy from authorised dealers due to long waiting lists and limited production numbers. But what about buyer power? Well, this is unusually high demand for products from Rolex that offer, which diminishes the power that the buyers hold. With some models having waiting lists spanning a number of years, there is always sufficient demand to satisfy the supply. As previously mentioned, high levels of competition will have an impact of sorts. However, Rolex's brand power, as well as the ever-increasing number of potential customers in recent years, counteracts this aspect. Finally, let's have a look at industry competition. Rolex's status, as opposed to market leaders and go-to status among luxury watch buyers, has meant that they possess a large market share. Furthermore, although Rolex's products offer a simple product in essence, market share is maintained through innovation of product designs and introducing precious metals not offered by other brands, such as meteorite and pearl. The third concept we will be exploring is the idea of brand loyalty. But what is brand loyalty? Kotler describes brand loyalty as a set of beliefs, ideas, and impressions that a person holds in relation to an organisation that offers a product or service to consumers. What does Rolex's brand really mean to us as consumers? Rolex, much like many other iconic brands, have built their brand loyalty amongst their consumers through decades of excellent service and product output. As well as this, the benefits provided to the brand through celebrity endorsements have further enforced loyalty amongst consumers. For example, if a consumer sees their favourite sports star wearing the watch, they will likely be more inclined to believe they have made a sensible purchase. Rolex's brand and their status as the kings of the luxury watch market has been built over decades of impeccable watch craftsmanship, which has been the stimulus for brand loyalty. Now that we've had a look at brand loyalty in regards to Rolex, let's have a look at the other stages of brand loyalty that a Rolex consumer might appreciate, or consumers in general might experience. The first stage is brand awareness. This is where a consumer might identify the brand or the product with the brand and will begin their journey on becoming familiar with the brand values. Secondly, we have salience. This describes the level by which a customer will recognise a product or brand, which is often seen as a key performance indicator or KPI. Thirdly, we have brand awareness, which is where a consumer will recognise the brand from the values that they have psychologically absorbed in stage 1 of the process. Finally, we have brand loyalty, which refers to the end product of the previous 3 stages of the process. Do consumers feel that this is the brand worth being loyal to, given the circumstances? A supporting theory that can be used to support the idea of brand loyalty is the self-concept approach. The self-concept approach is the idea that we as consumers purchase goods and services from brands that we believe represent ourselves as individuals in the current moment or who we would like to be in the future. This is wholly applicable to Rolex again. As Rolex's products have been seen as status statements, the consumer may purchase one of their watches to exude wealth or perhaps to exude the appearance of wealth irrespective of their financial status at the time. Rolex having a detailed understanding in regards to the consumer's motivations is so key, as it allows advertising strategies to work effectively. Thank you for watching my Marketing Dynamics vlog. You can find any recommendations that I've left for Rolex in the last slide of my presentation. Thanks again.